In this video, I want to talk to you about when people are faced with a decision whether to keep their teeth or whether to extract them, and the certain things that they have to think about, or certain things that people in those situations have thought about in order to come to a confident decision of what they want to do next. So generally speaking, when we're looking at that question, there's a few things that might get us to that point. The main way people lose their teeth is that they lose the bone that holds their teeth in their mouth. So imagine every tooth you have has a root, it's held in your mouth by bone. I guess a great analogy I would make is if you think of a phone pole in land. So generally when you're driving up and down the streets, you'll see phone poles all up and down the streets. And generally if you see a phone pole sticking out of the land, 1/3 is out of the land, but 2/3 is into the land. And then if we went and we grabbed that phone pole, you and me together, and we started pushing on that pole isn't going anywhere. And it's very strong, what we call it's rooted into the ground, which means it's very strong and is not going anywhere. And teeth are kind of the same way. Usually what you see is about 1/3 of the tooth sticking out of the gums and bone, and then 2/3 of the tooth, which is called the root, is encompassed in bone, and that's pretty tough. They can't move around and they don't wiggle too much, and we can't move them. Now, over time, there's lots of different reasons we lose bone, but if we lose too much bone, such as like 50%, 60%, or more than that, and then the roots don't have a lot of bone holding them in, then the teeth can get loose. Generally at that point, there's no point keeping the teeth. The teeth should be extracted, and then from there, we look at alternatives to the teeth. Now that's kind of one way that people think about, whether or not they should lose their teeth or not. So if there's extensive bone loss, really keeping the teeth becomes a very, it doesn't make sense from there. Now, another way people look at losing their teeth is if they're afflicted with a lot of cavities. So they have a lot of cavities or root canals, broken teeth, fractured teeth, teeth broken off at the gum line. Now, this is a very personal question because a lot of times if there's a lot of bone holding those teeth in their mouth, those teeth can be saved, and all the teeth can be saved, generally speaking, if the cavities aren't rampant and too bad. And only your dentist can make that final decision. But most times, even if the cavities are really bad, a dentist can do procedures to save those teeth, and a lot of people would prefer to have their teeth than have their teeth extracted. But by the same token, there's a lot of people who come and say, I've had nothing but problems my whole life with my teeth, and I want nothing more than to have them out. So if you have extensive cavities and broken teeth and teeth broken off at the gum lines, and you want to have the teeth out, we're going to support any decision you make, as long as you make a educated decision and you allow us to give you all the pros and cons to all the different options, then we'll support any decision you make in terms of that. Now, other thoughts about whether or not you should take out the teeth or keep the teeth could be financial, could be, again, emotional about how you feel about the teeth, but most times have to deal with whether or not you have enough gums and bones, mostly the bone to hold the teeth in their mouth so it can be stable and you can be able to keep those teeth for a long time and it becomes worth keeping the teeth, or if you've had extensive cavities and their teeth are savable or not savable, and then really it's up to you to decide whether or not you feel like saving them or not. So in this video, I spent some time explaining some of the things people think about when they're trying to decide whether or not they should keep their teeth or extract their teeth.